right. We are live for the first of 4 games today. Gonna be a busy one, but all these games should be decent to really good. Morning, Bob Flash. How you doing? Sounds a little wonky. Could be. I haven't drank anything. Let me see. Tired? Yeah. It is early. I woke up an hour ago. So. Sounds. Reaver. Hold on. Let me hold on 1 second. Hey, that is weird. Yeah, why is... Yeah, I'm not fully sure. It shows us picking up something that's not supposed to. That is weird. Hopefully, hopefully it sounds a little bit better. Yeah, my side thing was showing that I was picking up something that it wasn't supposed to. Now it doesn't show that, so we shall see. As long as it's still like audible, the reverb and echo can be fully figured out later if that didn't do it. Okay, all I did was just unplug and plug back in the mic. So I guess it was something interfering with it from last night, maybe, or something. Yeah, London, man. Second international game I'm calling this season. Probably also going to be the last one because Miami plays during the other two, I believe. But I figured I'm not able to do this upcoming Thursday night game. I didn't do last week's Sunday night game because of the weather delay that happened there. So I figured make up for both of them, do 4 games today. Good game. Gonna be a lot, but it should be fun. Especially the final thing. This is a good warm-up game for today, but the other 3 should be really solid. Yep, over in Tottenham. Did I say that Caleb Williams was the first number 1 overall QB, like first rookie number 1 overall QB to win back-to-back starts? Why does that not feel right? All right, Chicago will be getting the ball first in this one. And a full day's worth of football Gonna begin momentarily. And the kickoff is underway. Chicago will let this bounce into the back of the end zone for a touchback. They will begin from the 30, and Caleb Williams takes the field. Oh, there's already a flag. Seems like it was illegal formation on Chicago. It's a penalty on Chicago. That's all they're able to clearly show. All right, 1st and 10, first play of the game. Caleb Williams has been playing solid the past three games. Definitely playing a lot better. And how he started the season continue with ball in the 25. Williams under center, back behind him. 3 receiving options to the right. First play going to hand off up the middle, and that's going to gain about 3 yards for DeAndre Swift. And this offensive line for Chicago going to have another test for them. As throughout the season, they've been an offensive line. If you wish they played a little bit better in some games earlier on, like the Houston game especially. Williams under center, back behind him, gonna toss this left side for 2nd and 7. And DeAndre Swift's going to get up to about the 30 with a gain of 2, maybe 3. And a 3rd down coming up. All right, here we go. 3rd and 5. Williams in shotgun, back to his left. Trying to avoid the early 3 and out. 3 receivers to the right. Caleb dropping back, looking to throw, and pressure comes in quick. Escapes it somehow, but still going to end up getting sacked for about a yard. Escaped 2 defenders in the backfield. Stepped up, couldn't escape the other 2. And that's what I mean. This offensive line for Chicago that's just very simple fast rush going on. Nothing. They just got outmanned. Not outmanned, but like out-physicaled. A 3 and out kicks things off for Chicago, so they're going to send this one away to Jacksonville. The good news is, like, if they have to play a field position battle, Torrey Taylor is a great punter for that. As this is going to be a hell of a punt. The returns begin at the 8 and going to work his way up to about the 21. Like, hell of a punt. He was punting from from about like the 15 and just completely flipped the field. All right, now here comes Trevor Lawrence. First and 10, first play of the game for Jacksonville's offense. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his right, 2 receiving options to each side. And a drop back, look to throw, quick pass left side is caught and going to gain about 8 on the play. That is Brian Thomas. So both Evan Ingram and Gabe Davis are back for this one. They're healthy enough to play. And it's going to be interesting to see exactly how many snaps they do get. At 2nd and 2, Lawrence under center, going to hand this off up the middle, and Trevor Etienne's going to get stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. Travis or Trevor is in the NFL at the moment? Travis Etienne. Yeah. I don't know why I got Georgia on my 3rd and 2. Lawrence alone in shotgun. Now going to motion one of the receivers out wide to the left, to his left in the backfield. 3 receivers to the right. Quick pass right side. Has a man going to be caught for the first down and more. Up to the 35-yard line. That is Gabe Davis. All right, moving the chains. Lawrence under center, back behind him, going to have 3 receiving options to the left for this 1st and 10 from the 34. Gonna toss this left side for Tank Bigsby. Gonna cut up field and going to gain about 2 on the play. And a solid first play of this set of downs. Again, as long as you stay ahead of the chains, you're gonna make each set of downs a lot easier. Lawrence is shotgun, back to his left, 2 receiving options each side. Gonna look to pass. Has plenty of time, pass left side, caught for Evan Ingram at midfield, and will be brought down there as well. Hell of a pass. Like, it's first drive for both teams, and already the differences between the offensive lines is crazy. All right, 1st and 10, Lawrence and shotgun, back to his left, 3 receiving options to the right. Ball in midfield, need to get a snap off. 2 seconds, 1. They do just in time. Lawrence looking to throw. Chicago sending pressure, gonna escape to the right. Breaks off 1 sack, pump fake it, and gonna take it himself. Get the first down and out of bounds at about the 39.5 yard line. Big time play for Jacksonville. There's some movement on this opening drive. Right, they're ruling at the 40. About 9 minutes to go in this first quarter. Lawrence under center, back behind him. 2 receiving options to each side. Lawrence going to pump fake, going to play action and throw a left side for Brian Thomas on the screenplay, who has room to run past the first down up to about the 26. Going to be interesting. He slipped when he was catching it and might have used the ball as a leverage point. Yeah, we shall see how that gets ruled if they review it. The ball definitely touches the ground like a leverage point. So instead of just putting your hand on the ground and keeping yourself up that way, he used the ball. Same ball in the 27. Lawrence gonna snap it in time. Gonna hand this off left side for Tank Bigsby. Gonna get inside the 20 to the 19, maybe even the 18. That was a weird. I mean, I guess he never lost control of the ball when it hit the ground. So there's that aspect of it. 7:50 to play in this first quarter. Jacksonville in the red zone at the 19. Lawrence under center, back behind him, 3 receiving options to the right. We're going to send one of them in motion as he hands this off up the middle for Tank Bigsby, who's going to fight his way forward. Might have picked up enough for the first. If not, he's just inches away, depending on the spot. They're saying he's short, 3rd and inches. Lawrence under center, back behind him. As there's movement up front, we'll see how the refs rule this. Most likely will be a false start, though. Yep, false start on Jacksonville. So it'll be a 3rd and 5, basically, coming up. Yep, it was the tight end on the left side. It may have also been the left tackle. Could have got a few people there. So 3rd and basically 5. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. Ball now on about the 22.5. As there is a clock stoppage once again. Why did they stop play there for a second? What? All right, that's weird. 6:38 to play in this first quarter. Lawrence alone in shotgun. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Looking for about 5 yards. Back to pass. Throw left side, going to be caught inside the 10. And down at about the 8-yard line is Christian Kirk on the reception. And a 1st and goal coming up. If that throw's a little better, it might have been a touchdown. Little bit behind. But he picks up the first nonetheless to keep the drive moving. So 1st and goal, Lawrence under center, back behind him, ball in about the 8.5, and there's movement up front again by Jacksonville. Yep, false start, gonna push them back. God, man. Yeah, Gabe Davis. Jacksonville's on a 10-game streak without an opening touchdown, an opening drive touchdown. Trying to get one here. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his right. Ball on about the 14. 2 receivers each side, going to hand this off up the middle. And that's going to gain a yard, maybe 2 on the play. With Ernest Johnson on the carry. And a 2nd and goal, 5 minutes to play in this first quarter. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers lined up to the right. Ball in about the 12. Gonna drop back, looking to pass, has some time, they're gonna escape to the left, throwing for the end zone left side, and is basically just a throwaway. So a 3rd and goal coming up. It's 3rd and long, basically. A 3rd and goal. And Jacksonville looking to have an opening drive touchdown for the first time in 10 games. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers right, sending one of them in motion. Now 2 receivers each side. Drop back, looking to throw. Pass end zone left side, has a man. And incomplete. Gabe Davis was open, but the hit forced the ball loose. And out comes the field goal unit for Jacksonville. I mean, that was a great throw from Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, Gabe Davis just couldn't hang on. So out comes the field goal unit for this 30-yard try from the left hash. Kick is up and good. Jacksonville takes a 3-point lead with 4:37 to play in the first quarter. Oh, okay. Hey, Jacksonville's offense looked solid there. It was a solid drive. Just need to be able to finish those. I mean, we've seen them most of the season so far with Jacksonville. Just the inability to properly finish drives. The ad commercial here. Quickly can use this time to say, if you are new, subscribe. Greatly appreciated. Trying to get to 300 by the end of the year. Give a like while you're at it as well. Play-by-plays all season long. Today we are doing 4 games. This one, Washington, Baltimore, Detroit, Dallas, and then Sunday Night Football between the Bengals and Giants. Evan Ingram had one solid reception. He was only targeted at one time as well. So I think he looked solid. The fact that he's playing is the big thing because he's been out the past few weeks. But he had one reception earlier, picked up, moved the chains, kept the drive going. So far he's looked solid, but it's been one drive. Again, him and Gabe Davis were two I was interested to see how much they get utilized today for Jacksonville because they're both back from injury. And Lawrence is trusting both of them earlier already. I'm gonna put something on. I want to make sure my iPad's ready for the later games. All right, just coming back from commercial to showcasing Jacksonville's history with London. Because, yeah, like Jacksonville, for some reason, they get rejuvenated when playing in London. Like, London is basically a second home for them. So we'll see if they can keep up the trend of that with a win today. As Jacksonville about to send this one away, Chicago is going to let this bounce at the back of the end zone for a touchback. Yeah, exactly. They started 0-4 for a reason, and you gotta be able to finish drives. I mean, they would have won the Miami game in week 1 if they just finished off one more drive. Particularly that whole Travis Etienne fumble drive, which, to be fair, I'm thankful they didn't finish that drive off. But you gotta be able to finish drives especially when you get inside the 10. Like you get inside the 10, and then the false start happens, and from there you kind of just forget how to call plays. Williams going to play action, rolling out to his right, going to find Cole Kmet in the flat, and going to gain about 5 on the play, up to the 35. And it's also why Jacksonville lost the division last year, because they just couldn't finish drives late. Late in that season, they couldn't finish drives. To be fair, a lot else went wrong last season. We'll also say that. We'll see. I would expect Anthony Richardson will be back next week. Quick pass left side for DJ Morris, going to lose about 3, maybe 2 on the play for a screen pass that went nowhere. I think it's more likely we get Anthony Richardson next week than Joe Flacco, because Richardson nearly was good to go this week. If we get Richardson's first game back, and he hasn't played in first game back in like two or so weeks, we should have a decent shot. If it's Flacco, it's gonna be tough. That's for sure. All right, 3rd and 7. Williams and shotgun back to his left, 2 receiving options to each side. Clock is ticking. Play clock is running down. Is going to force Chicago to call a timeout. Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, the Panthers didn't start off the greatest last season either. I mean, it's 3 games out of an 82 game season. So, and they got the scoring started in that Buffalo game. It's just they have a lot of new pieces. They need to get things going. They need to build that chemistry amongst the new guys. I'm not worried just yet. Again, it's still the first week of the NHL season, basically. And plus, I'm kind of expecting Ottawa to be a little bit better than they were last year. All right, 3rd and 7. Williams and shotgun back to his left. 3 receiving options to the right. Trying to avoid 2 straight 3-and-outs to begin this game. Williams dropping back, looking to throw, going to step up, avoiding pressure, pump faking, and just spikes a ball right in front of him. Incomplete. Yeah, exactly. Like if Ottawa makes the playoffs, then that kind of loss to them early in the season is not going to look as bad. Oh, was that a fumble actually? No, he passed it directly into the shoulder pad of his lineman, who was a foot in front of him. So Chicago, another 3-and-out for the Bears, going to send this one away back to Jacksonville. Corey Taylor with a nice punt, going to begin the return at about the 8. Going to work his way left side, has room to run, going to get out of bounds at the 21. I mean, I get trying to sidearm a pass there on 3rd down to the flat, but you got to have enough awareness to realize you need to have enough awareness to realize there was an O lineman directly in front of me. Can't necessarily sidearm this. Yeah. I mean, Dylan Guenther has been playing extremely well early on this season. And they have been impressive, but the goalie play from them is, at least from what I've seen fully, has not been the greatest. Yeah, I mean, overtime win against the Rangers where they let 5 pass. And then 4 to the yeah. I mean, they just need to get the goalie play better, and they can be a really solid team. But like at the same time, again, it's early in the season. Teams like the Rangers and teams like the Rangers, the Islanders, even to extent who in the playoffs last year, so dealing with that limited amount of rest they had in the offseason because of having a deep playoff run. And I know the Islanders got bounced early, but it's still 4 extra games they played. I have an ad commercial here for this London game. I have the Commanders. I do have Washington winning that game. It should be a great game nonetheless. I mean, I can see it being a shootout. I can see it being a defensive game. It's just like both teams' defenses are relatively inconsistent, but I feel like Washington at least have more of an idea of what I'm going to get out of them. But yeah, I'm excited. I'll be back live for that game as well. Because again, I do expect it to be game of the week for that early window. All right, back from commercial. 3:04 to play in this first quarter. Jacksonville beginning with ball on the Jacksonville with ball on the 21. Lawrence under center, back behind him. Two receiving options to each side, making adjustments at the line. Going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to go nowhere. A loss of about 2 on the play for Travis Etienne. Texans. And I for as much as I really like how both Washington and Minnesota are playing right now, I just can't fully see them make a deep playoff run at the moment. Because there's just at some point they're gonna return to a true form with the quarterback play. Lawrence is gonna look to throw in 2nd and 12, pass right side is caught for Evan Ingram. Plenty of room to run, gets up to the 35-yard line, enough for the first down. But again, Minnesota could get carried by the defense, but then when come playoff time, when they play kind of the more unpredictable teams, I feel like they could begin to struggle. Washington, I see a lot in Washington this season as the 2012 team that they had. So I don't fully expect much out of the playoff run. Houston and Kansas City, I could see be the AFC Championship game. Handoff right side on 1st and 10, going to gain about a yard on the play with Travis Etienne. Yeah, gain of 1, 2nd and 9 coming up. I guess the only debate would be what would the seeding be? Yeah, that is true. That is if either team makes the playoffs. 2nd and 9, Lawrence gonna pump fake, and gonna try to take it himself up the middle, and is sacked for a loss of about 2 on the play. A 5-wide look that just had nothing going for it. But to be fair with that whole it's not even just the fact that a New York team beat a Philly team. It's the Knicks were expected to win that one, and it was in New York. The Knicks are New York's A team. The Mets were not expected to win, and are New York's B team. The real quick, 3rd and 11. Lawrence gonna dump this off left side in the flat for Evan Ingram, and he's going to gain about 9 on the play. Away from being 4-1. Yeah, that is true. But then it's the Eagles. It would make more sense when to watch out for the Giants because those were in championship games. All right, Jacksonville going to go for it on 4th and 2. It seems at least lined up to Lawrence and shotgun back to his right. 3 receivers to the right. Clock is going to expire. That brings us to the end of the first quarter. It seems like they're just trying to get Chicago to jump off sides. I was with how the Eagles have been playing so far this season, I don't know if they even make the playoffs at this point. I don't know anything. The NFC East is such a weird division again. To be fair, it always is kind of weird and confusing, but this year's different. It's I don't think anyone expected Washington to be this good. And then Philly is underperforming expectations. The Giants are in a weird spot. Dallas has a massive one today as they play Detroit. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't think anyone expected Washington to win the East this year. And that's why like I'm feeling a lot of 2012 vibes from them. But we'll see. I mean, they're playing solid. Today would be a great test for Washington to see how they stack up with the top end teams in the league. But it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, first quarter just ended here in this one at commercial break in between quarters. Go up there. Oh, Chicago's long snapper was just ruled out with a knee injury. Damn, that sucks. That's a weird one. You don't see often that a long snapper goes down with injury. Damn. All right, back from commercial, and yeah, Jacksonville decides just to send out the punting unit. So Chicago's defense makes a big time stand as they give Caleb Williams the ball back, hoping for an actual successful drive this time. Yeah, again, I woke up at this point like 2 hours ago, hence why like I got a little bit of energy in here. And there's a flag on the play. Going to be a false start on Jacksonville. Going to push this back 5 before they kick this one down. Yeah, Logan Cook, the punter for Jacksonville. He's going to have a good test and good battle between him and Corey Taylor today. If this does come down to a field position battle, he sends this one away. Punt comes off clean and is going to be fair caught at about the 19-yard line. Chicago will start from there. Caleb Williams. And this offense needs to have a pretty solid drive going. As that brings us to another commercial. Yay. Like, this has been like always college wise, this has been a solid week of football games. So I'm definitely excited for what today's slate has to offer. Like, I'm expecting some really good and really solid ones today. Like, not even just Washington, Baltimore, but I could see Arizona, Green Bay being a big one. Drake May makes his first start in his career today against Houston. That could be an ugly one. Tampa and New Orleans should be a pretty solid one. Same goes for Indy and Tennessee. And they come to 4 o'clock window. Obviously, Dallas and Detroit should be good. Pittsburgh and Vegas, AOC getting the start. And then Denver and the Chargers. That one could be a wild one. And of course, Sunday Night Football between Cincy and New York. It's tough to fully dive into like what to expect out of some of these games because some of these lines I don't get. Like how is Tennessee favored? Yeah, Mets Yankees World Series could be nice, the whole Subway Series thing, but I don't know. Part of me wants, part of me wants the Mets to win it all, just because it would be funny, and I feel like the easier opponent for them if they do make the World Series would be Cleveland, but who knows? Either way, I feel like the Mets should be happy with this season already because of how it started and how they rallied and got here. All right, just coming out of commercial break in this one. Chicago with ball on the 19. They might have. I don't know. I don't keep up with baseball that well to know that. But that's also not 4 games or not a 7-game series in the regular season. All right, Caleb under center, back behind him, going to hand this off with DeAndre Swift. Has room to run up the middle and going to pick up the first and more up to the 31-yard line. Good cut back up the middle for DeAndre Swift. And a nice gain of yards there. Hey, if he bounced it out towards the sideline a bit on the right side, he might have had a lot more. Williams alone in shotgun. 3 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Ball on the 30, basically. Going to look to throw. Has a man right side, but incomplete, off target. And there is the flag on the play. Going to most likely be on Jacksonville. Yep, there's the DPI on Jacksonville. It's like, that was a way off target throw for Caleb Williams. Yeah, I mean, yeah. He got an arm around the waist, but I don't know how much that really impacted. If that could have been caught or not. And before this first down play, there is some kind of play stoppage. What? Oh, they're chains. Okay. Up and score 12 runs each game. Damn. Yeah, that's impressive. But again, it's just playoff baseball. Playoff in any sport is a different story. Williams going to hand this off up the middle with DeAndre Swift on 1st and 10 and going to gain about 4 up to the 39-yard line. Again, it would just be cool to see the Mets win the World Series. Again, I don't care enough about baseball to really have like a root in favor, besides like I want chaos and a fun storyline, and the whole grimace thing surrounding the Mets would be fun as hell if they win the World Series. Williams going to keep it himself down the right side after the read option. Going to pick up the first and more. Stepping out of bounds at about the 47-ish. I'm shocked they actually called it read option for Caleb Williams. He also didn't even look like he read it correctly. But he was able to get the outside. That would be 1-5. Yeah, of course you do, Bob Flash. Williams going to hand this off for DeAndre Swift up the middle. Has room to run. Going to get past midfield up to about the plus 45. I mean, like, Jacksonville's run defense, at least right now, has not been much. Even like last week and earlier this season has not been a lot. But I mean, they did decently against Miami, but in part because the Dolphins failed to commit to the run in that game. Yeah, I don't know. All right, 2nd and 4, Williams under center, 2 receivers to each side. Back behind him, going to hand this off once again for DeAndre Swift, and he's going to lose about 3 on the play. But what would be the worst World Series for you? Would it be the Subway Series, or would it be Mets versus Cleveland? Just because like 2 New York teams, one of them gonna have success, or the chance for Cleveland to break their drought. Williams looking to throw in 3rd and 6, gonna pass left side screenplay, and it's going to stay up on his feet. Past the 35, finally out of bounds at about the 31. Big time gain on that play for Chicago on 3rd and 6. Able to keep the drive alive. As that was Roschon Johnson on the reception. Subway Series is worse? Okay. Great balance there. Yeah, that's true. Also, it would be cool to see Chris. Like, that's one of the because like Mets Guardians World Series would probably be the funnest for me because I'm a fan of Jolly Olive and then Chris Rose as well does the NFL Network stuff. Williams passed over the middle, wide open. Cole Kmet inside the 10, breaks the tackle to 5, stretching forward, and he gets in. Touchdown, Chicago. A dual fake screenplay to each side, and then Cole Kmet leaks over the middle for a big time gain and the touchdown. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Especially because like I don't know, in basketball, the Heat and the Cavs don't have any like real rivalries going. And like baseball, you're not. I mean, are the Cardinals and Guardians in the same division? Somewhat decent, yeah. Exactly. They are okay. The extra point try to make it a 4-point game is up and good. Yeah, that fake screen, those two, yeah. We saw San Francisco run that kind of play before, where you fake a screen to each side, whether a halfback screen or a receiver screen, and then you just have the tight end leak on a seam route up the middle, and that worked to perfection for Chicago. Big. It's it is weird how the divisions in baseball can work out. They're in the AL, okay, and then Cleveland's in the NL then. Yeah, yeah, you're in NL Central. Okay, yeah, I mean that's I get like how they ended up forming those conferences and those divisions because it's very similar to what pretty much all the other sports leagues did, where there was a merger of some kind. But I mean, in like the NFL, for example, you had the AFL NFL merger, but throughout the years, that just hasn't mattered. And teams that were once a part of the AFL are now in the NFC conference, which is supposed to be all the original NFL teams. For some reason, they make that move. I don't know. I want to do a video on all the like, the alignments. I haven't gotten to it. Same division, though, just different sides. Yeah. It was like because like the Seahawks, for example, like they were in the AFC for years, and then it just used like decades they're in the AFC, and then like all of a sudden they moved to the NFC, and it's kind of just like why? I think it was no when did they move to the NFC? Was it when Jacksonville and Carolina entered the league? Or was it Guardians or the Spies in St. Louis? That's funny. I can get why the Royals would be despised because the whole Missouri clash. But really, Cleveland also. Yeah, an 81-yard drive. That why did I put it to 4? What? No, it's there. We go. All right, kickoff underway. Jacksonville is going to return this beginning from about the 2. Going to work his way past the 30. Makes a man miss past the 40. Finally brought down, but not before a massive return up to the 44-yard line for Tank Bigsby. From Chicago. Yeah, I knew that was a big rivalry. I mean, it's always funny how different the rivalries can be between sports. Because like when the Rams were in St. Louis, like no one. I mean, the Rams and Bears weren't really a rivalry at any point because when the Rams were good, Chicago was either just getting good or not nearly as good as they probably should have been in that time. Lawrence going to look to throw, pass over in the middle to Etienne is going to. If they're saying that's caught, it's Chicago football, and they're going to. Saying that Travis Etienne caught it, made a football move, then fumbled, picked up by Chicago. So a one-play disaster drive for Jacksonville as the Bears are going to start with the ball in about the 49. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that I do think that is a fumble because with how the whole football move interpretation of the catch rule works. Technically, if you're catching it facing like the offensive line and you turn to run, that counts as a football move. So yeah, Chicago football, and all of a sudden they're in complete control of this game. Because like when the Bears were good, like particularly like the 80s and early 90s, like the Rams weren't much. When the Rams were good in the late 90s, early 2000s, the Bears weren't much. When the Bears were good in the mid 2000s and early 2010s, the Rams weren't much. So like there never really was like a St. Louis Chicago rivalry in the NFL. Yeah, it was still the Niners. I mean, the closest you can think of to a St. Louis team having a rivalry with a Chicago team in the NFL is probably when the Cardinals were in St. Louis because they got forced out of Chicago by the Bears. So I would imagine the Cardinals and the Bears have had a rivalry of some kind, but it's probably been too toned down since the Cardinals moved to Arizona. Okay, I have plans to do a whole video on kind of like the oddities of realignment in the NFL. Yeah, there's some weird ones. Yeah, you look back at the playoff pictures for the 80s and you'll see the Seahawks in the AFC Championship game. Like, again, anything into the 90s. Yeah, it's been decades. Yeah, exactly. It's like St. Louis and Chicago don't got. I mean, even in I think of the other sports. Obviously, not in basketball because St. Louis doesn't have a team. They are going to review this. The question is just, did Etienne make a football move? All right, Gene, what do you guys say? Yeah, that is very close to be in a bang bang kind of thing. I do like how the refs ruled it a fumble on the field, so that way like they could review it. And call is overturned, saying that Etienne did not maintain possession for long enough. That makes sense. So Jacksonville luckily escapes disaster there. 10:56 to play in this half. Now going to be a 2nd and 10 for Jacksonville. Again, what do you even call on this kind of play after we thought you just gave the ball up? Lawrence in shotgun, back to his right, 3 receivers to the left, going to drop back, looking to throw. Pressure comes in quick, dump off right side on the flat, and going to be a gain of about 2 for Dearness Johnson. I'm still in the process of doing the big video, like long research video I'm doing. And I'm diving into the '08 Lions a bit for it. Because I kind of need to for it, but I'm diving into the '08 Lions a bit. And man, that season was a disaster for them. Lawrence a shotgun, back to Lawrence alone in shotgun, 3 receivers to the left, 3rd and 8. Going to drop back, looking to throw. He's going to escape to his left instantly, trying to look downfield, and then just going to keep it himself and push out of bounds at the 49. So only a gain of about 4. Only a gain of about 4 on the play, and Chicago's going to get the ball back nonetheless. The Saints in the 5-team division area, but still in the... Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because again, I was looking through the 08 Lions schedule yesterday, and the one game they came closest to winning was a 17-15. It was a 2-point loss to Minnesota. As on Jacksonville's going to punt this away, comes off clean, letting it bounce at about the 13 and going to bounce out of bounds to about like the 5. Yeah, the 08 Lions had a 2-point loss to Minnesota. And it turns out that game was the Orlovsky safety out the back of the end zone game. I did not realize that game, that play, was during the regular season. Every time I've seen it, I always assumed it was during the preseason. Because I was like, there's no way someone could make that kind of mistake during the regular season. Turns out I was wrong. And again, it was in a game they ended up losing by 2. Like, come on. Williams going to keep it himself on the read option right side and going to be tackled by the ankles for about 4. Like, I already know that I'm going to put an emphasis on that. Because, like, that was in a regular season game. Also, it turns out Minnesota was just safety machines in 08. A handoff left side for DeAndre Swift, going to only gain about a yard on the play, up to the 10-yard line, so a 3rd and 5 coming up. Because in that same season, they had a game against Green Bay. Yeah, they had a game against Green Bay that same season where they had 2 safeties. And won that game because of a safety, basically. Like, it's rare to have... A safety's already hard to come by. I haven't fully dived into the Vikings that season, but from the 2 games I did look at, they had 3 safeties, and that's just impressive. 3rd and 5, Williams looking to throw. Has some time, going to pass left side, going to be caught one-handed. Enough for the first down, going to be out of bounds, close to the 20-yard line. That was Roschon Johnson on the play. It's a nice pass to the flat. Williams alone in shotgun. Now making adjustments at the line. Initially had 4 receivers to the right, but now he's going to be under center, back behind him. Toss right side for Johnson once again, going to get past the 20, up to about the 23. Like, to be fair though, like the Vikings did have a solid front 7 that year. But yeah, it's just shocking. It's basically like one of this again. It's hard to say that they were a safety machine when one of the safeties was Dan Orlovsky being Dan Orlovsky, and the other one was a strip sack, illegal forward pass against first-year starter Aaron Rodgers. 2nd and 6, Williams slip a strike over the middle, going to be a first down and a bunch more up to midfield. That is Rome Odunze on the reception. They just delivered an absolute strike. Nearly broke it as well, Odunze, but instead, he still brought down the midfield and large pickup there for Chicago. 6:40 to play in the half. Williams in shotgun back to his right, 2 receivers to each side. Going to look to throw once again. Pass left side is caught and going to work his way up to about the plus 41 is DJ Moore. Because yeah, it's just Minnesota. Again, they won the division that year. They were 10-6. It wasn't the greatest of divisions that year. Williams going to hand this off up the middle and go into gain and a half yard. Because he's shocking the league in Washington. Yeah, honestly, it is definitely a blessing that Daniels probably didn't go first overall, because I do think Washington's O-line has been playing a lot better than Chicago's this season, so that definitely helps. All right, 3rd and 1. Williams under center. Back behind him as they brought in another lineman to work as fullback on this play. Going to play action, looking to throw. Has plenty of time. Launcher one deep down the field. And underthrown, picked off inside the 10. Gonna run this back. Trying to flip the field past the 30, but in the process of flipping field, he goes backwards a bit and going to be brought down at about the 27. And there's I saw that Jalen Waddle jersey in the stands. Let's go. But Williams had a man open. He had DJ Moore. He puts that more towards the pylon in the end zone. That's a touchdown. And I don't get why he didn't, because he had plenty of time to step into that throw and make sure it was on target, but just didn't get enough into it. It's because of it's so again, like, similarly to why Jaden Daniels and LSU didn't have a great season last year. It was because of the defense. They went 3-9 because of the defense. But I do admit, like, Caleb, on watching some of those SC games, the way the defense and the offensive line was playing forced Caleb Williams to play a style that definitely didn't seem like it transferred to the NFL that well. But now that he's has like a professional team around him and is like playing with a decent defense, a offensive line that is serviceable, and he's able to be more of just an improviser and a pocket passer, he's definitely playing. He's definitely playing well. But it's gonna take time to get used to that style a bit. But I mean, again, like USC went 3-9. LSU went what, like 4-8, 5-7. Like, if you want to go purely based off of success for that season, I mean, JJ McCarthy should have gone number 1 overall if you're going based off of team success. Like, in most of the losses SC had, there were shootouts, and the defense just failed to make a stop late. Last year? Why do I not believe you? Yeah, I feel like if y'all went 9-3, that would have been talked about a bit more. This is a bowl game, really? Oh yeah, damn. Why do I feel like LSU was talked about so much worse than a 10-3 team? They were not talked about last year like they were a 10-3 team. I don't. Ball on the 29. Lawrence gonna hand this off up the middle for Tank Bigsby. Gonna get past the 30 up to about the 31, so a gain of 2. Like, I feel like LSU was talked about in a much worse manner last year than a team that went 10-3. But yeah, damn, 10-3. All right, 2nd and 8. Lawrence and shotgun. Back to his left. 2 receivers to each side. Going to hand this off up the middle once again for Bigsby. He's going to find a lane and pick up about 5 on the play. They've only missed the bowl game like once. Damn. Let me see. Why? What games did y'all lose? Oh yeah, y'all got killed by FSU early, and then Ole Miss was a shootout. Bama. Killed. Yeah, I mean, I guess Maybe because after the loss to Bama, the opponents weren't anything special. That's probably why there wasn't much massive discussion. Quick pass left side for Evan Ingram on 3rd and 3, trying a screenplay and only going to pick up about 2. Yeah, I don't know why I felt like LSU was a lot worse last year. But oh yeah, both offenses today in this one, man. I mean, Chicago is definitely a lot more to build off of in this game, but we didn't have any struggles besides. Yeah, that's true. This punt going to bounce out of bounds at about the 14-yard line, might be saying the 15. So Chicago will be getting from there. I love the amount of people dressed up as Mike Ditka today in the stands. I love it. Oh yeah, that is true. I guess it does make sense that he would have gotten the Heisman out of an actual good team performance season. Yeah, I guess it does make more sense now. And again, at college, I watched a good chunk of games yesterday, but for the most part, again, I have like the quad box up. I have like 2 quad boxes up, and I'm just watching a shit ton of games, looking for chaos to happen. Like that Georgia Tech North Carolina game on the CW yesterday was amazing. And then Friday night, I was watching Harvard and Cornell. Like I'm okay, when it comes to college, like most other sports, I just root for chaos primarily because it's fun to see. Like, well, Vandy this season so far has been playing incredible. I love it. Mr. QB go down first game. Yeah, but you got to adjust, and they just couldn't. They completely failed to stop the run against Georgia Tech. So we have Drake May making his first career start today. That's going to be a game I keep an eye on during the 1 o'clock window. While doing Washington Baltimore. Because I mean, it's still early enough in the season where if Drake May performs incredibly well, and then the Patriots go on this like insane run, he could still win Offensive Rookie of the Year. In Chicago, ball on the 15, Williams alone in shotgun. Looking to motion someone to his left. Going to fake it past right side and hand it off up the middle for DeAndre Swift, who's only going to gain about 1 on the play. I mean, there's still technically a shot for him. You can always go take the UFL or something else like that. But yeah, it definitely sucks. But he'll probably be back playing next year and just take the medical red shirt. Gonna toss this left side for DeAndre Swift. You had some blocking, and you had some blocking and going to pick up just about the first down. A gain of 9 on the play. Like I would imagine he has another like medical redshirt year he's gonna use because of that. Like who knows? Like someone could look at his tape from A&M and be like, we'll take him on the practice squad. Final play before the 2-minute warning. Williams looking to throw, has some time. Now, so plenty of time going to roll out to the right now and just take it himself. Plenty of space to run. First down and a whole lot more. And sliding down at midfield. That'll bring us to the 2-minute warning. 16 in college. I mean, yeah, but look at the Miami tight end who's in year 9. He'll probably, I'd imagine he has a way to play next year if he wants. If not, he goes. There's still options. Yeah, the amount of UFL teams that could use a solid quarterback is abundant. So there's always that. Like there's options abundant. I have commercial break for the 2-minute warning. For as little offense that's been happening in this game, it has actually been going by pretty smoothly. Typically in low offensive games, they can kind of like drag on a bit, but it's been solid. Bringing back this report from last night. Roger Goodell has said that he could see the league holding a Super Bowl internationally. To which I say, go fuck yourself. Like, all these international games are fine because they're just regular season games between two teams that not a lot of people care about, and the cities that like London themselves, like they love Jacksonville. The Germany games are always going to be insane. Like these international games are fine. You put the Super Bowl internationally, and you completely miss the point of the Super Bowl. And you're purely doing that for the money aspect. And yes, I know, because like already the Super Bowl is like 50 to 70% business people in the stands, or like really high end people in the stands. So why move it internationally? Well, it's not just that, Bob Flash. It's the amount of media that isn't. The London games are just normal games, but for the Super Bowl, you have Media Row, so a lot of people can need to fly out internationally for Radio Row, and that's not going to happen a lot internationally. On play action, Williams is going to throw it over the middle and caught by Roma Dunze for about 12 on the play, up to the 39. Radio Row becomes extremely more difficult because a lot of the just like typical beat reporters who are typically there for Radio Row would not be able to travel internationally, either because they don't have the funds to, or the companies they work for don't want to send internationally because it's expensive to go internationally, especially for a week plus. So that becomes a lot more of an issue. The hotels and finding the practice areas for the teams are going to be tough. It's just it doesn't make sense, and then you don't even have the same international feel. Williams looking to throw on 1st and 10, has time pass right side, caught by Cole Kmet up to the 35-yard line. They're now officially in field goal range. The great part about the international games is a full crowd of international international fans. Not high-end execs, not business people, fans. As Williams looking to throw 2nd and 5, going to try to buy time. You cannot take a sack here. Going out to his left, just chucks one deep down the field for a throwaway on the left side. Smart decision, 40 seconds to go. It became a 4 national. Exactly. Like the Super Bowl is already a lot of execs and rich people. So the whole point of the international games is to showcase the international fans. A Super Bowl internationally would not be able to do that because the tickets will be too expensive. So what's the point? I fully get why. I fully get in concept the idea behind having a massive game internationally, because the international fans would 100% show up for it. Williams looking to throw him for 3rd and 5. Pass over the middle. It's caught by Roma Dunze. Gonna get the first down and more up to about the 24-ish yard line. Enough for the first down, and Chicago's going to have 35 seconds left with their second timeout called. Like, it doesn't make sense. But but at the same time, it would bring in so much money. And that's why the NFL will do it. In theory, the time it would start over here in the States would be better for the team's fans who wins it, because they'll have a lot more time to party and celebrate afterwards. So, like, in theory, it could be really good. But that's why it's an in theory, and it's not actually going to be the case. Need the Jags to win. I didn't fully look at your pickups. Did you pick Jacksonville for this one? Ball in the 24, Williams and shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side. 35 seconds to play in the half. Gonna drop back, look to throw, gonna dump it off left side, screen pass to DeAndre Swift. Going to gain 2 before being pushed out of bounds. You did? Honestly, I could really use Chicago to win this because, yeah, it's the Thursday night game did not go. I'm having a tough time predicting Thursday night football, which just makes complete sense. I'll drop in the channel. Yeah. Again, I know you did last week. It's just you dropped it at the time when I didn't even look at predictions yet. So I didn't want to base mine off of what you did or all that. So I didn't get proper time to look at it. Williams looking to throw in 2nd and 7, going to escape to his left, avoiding sacks. Pump fake, it has room to run. Past the 10, going to get past the 5, down at the 1 yard line. 17 seconds, Chicago's going to call their final timeout. Caleb Williams, man, he's using his legs in a very nice way. We have Chicago calls their final timeout with 17 seconds and a 1st and goal. And I mean, Jacksonville allowed a 22-yard QB run from Joe Flacco last week. This is another 20-plus yard carry. Oh, you picked Chicago? Okay. Yeah, I was like, really pick Jacksonville? Oh, fuck. Why do I see Armstead trending? What is this? I mean, I don't know. When it comes to the debate between Travis and Caleb, I think it's still early for that because Caleb's been playing for a month in the NFL. Yeah, Trevor. All right. So same ball in the 2. Williams and shotgun back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. I just think Trevor is overhyped. Williams gonna look to throw. Pass right side end zone. Caught. Cole Kmet wide open. Back corner of the end zone. His 2nd of the day. And Chicago's going to take a 10-point lead, pending the extra point to make it 11. Cole Kmet having himself a great day. I'm confused. Yeah, I just think Trevor Lawrence is overhyped, and we're seeing it this year. That he is overhyped. He was overpaid in the offseason. But I mean, at the same time, he hasn't had the greatest of coaches, so it's hard to truly say. High snap on the extra point, but it does come off clean, and it is good. With 13 seconds left in the first half, Jacksonville might try something here to add points, but I kind of doubt it. Yeah, I get both of the ETNs confused sometimes. Green Bay, Indy. how similar are our? I haven't looked through my pickups recently. I think I might have picked Pittsburgh instead of Vegas, and that might be like the only difference. Yep. Yeah, I picked Pittsburgh over Vegas, and then everything else is the same. All right. Cole Kmet, I mean, like Cole. Like last year, Cole Kmet didn't play the greatest, but he's definitely playing to a better standard this season. Chicago going to kick this one away. We'll see what Jacksonville can do. Going to return this beginning from the 4. Going to try to find a lane, but brought down at about the 26. And with 6 seconds to play in the half, I would imagine Jacksonville just needs this one to halftime. I'm not going to pick Pitt or Baltimore for any games. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. Like the Pittsburgh Vegas game is such a weird game on paper because AOC getting the start, it's hard to tell what that's gonna look like going forward. And yeah, Jacksonville just needs this one at halftime. Like I do feel like Vegas needs to have a great second half of this first half of the season. Like they're gonna need this next few weeks to be really solid if they want to like not be sellers at the deadline. Let's see. Michael Pittman today. Oh, Michael Pittman is expected to be active today against Tennessee. Oh yeah, I like how AOC played last year as well. But at the same time, there were games last year where he was non-existent, but they still found ways to win. Like the KC game last year that they had in KC. AOC was non-existent, but Zamir White had himself a fantastic day, as did the defense, and they were able to beat KC in KC. But like at the same time, it's just weird. Yeah, that is true. Like rookies do have flashes, but I don't know. I just think I'm just with it. I would have thought Gardner Minshew would have played better so far this season, especially against Denver. Like I don't know how much better AOC can be. But I guess the idea is that AOC is more. Oh, he's more of a pocket passer than Minshew is. So like I feel like he would be able to be a little bit more accurate, make some throws that Minshew would otherwise miss. But he's nowhere. But he's not the type of improviser that Minshew is. So he's going to ruin. He's going to miss opportunities in that aspect. It's just, I mean, especially against the Steelers defense to make your first start in the season. Like that's not an easy defense to make a start against. And I'm saying that like Drake May isn't making his first career start against Houston of all teams. Yeah. I mean, it's been that kind of thing has been solid, I guess, for me. I'm right around 500, which I'll take for like probably making predictions for the first time. But like it's like I was thinking more about it yesterday because the UCF game was not great offensively. Like I was trying to think of like, okay, how would I go about fixing a team like UCF. And I'm like, I do like I do like a quarterback more in line with a Mahomes than a Lamar Jackson. I do like a mobile quarterback, but I do prefer the improviser, not the specifically scrambles. Yeah, you're doing a lot better than I am this year so far, but that comes with it. It'll take time. It was like it'll be an improviser. That's why I do like Gardner Minshew more than AOC. But at the same time, if you're going to be an improviser, you need to have good throw on the run and be able to throw on the run well. And Minshew just can't really, it seems. But it's weak. Love the physicality up front that a team like Pittsburgh and most of the AFC North has. I'm all for winning games. You're that winning games that are committed to the ground. But at the same time, I want more of a balanced style if I was to run a team. Because the way UCF plays, for those who don't watch college, they are one of, if not the most run heavy and run built teams I have ever seen. They cannot do anything besides run the ball, it feels. Yeah. Riding in Miami has not done great for me, I will say that. It was UCF is one of, if not the most run heavy teams I've ever seen. And even then, they can't do it consistently enough. And then when they try to pass the ball, it's always off of weird play actions and RPOs that just don't work or don't have the opportunity to work because there's one receiving option there. But KJ got benched yesterday. And we started a true freshman for a reason I don't know, who looked decent in the first two drives, but at the same time didn't do a lot. And then we finally threw in Jakari Brown, who was a sophomore from Miami. And he looked really solid. And I'm sitting there if we started him from the get-go, we probably win this game. And Jakari Brown is he played well for being thrusted in there. I would imagine he's the starter going forward. So someone like KJ, who I have called KJ Jefferson this to multiple people at this point, so this is nothing new. Someone like KJ Jefferson, who is a quote unquote by me a Mark Cam Newton, he has the potential. But from the second I saw him actually throw a pass wearing the UCF jersey during pregame warmups against New Hampshire, I knew instantly he's not here. He's not going to be the guy to lead this team this season. From pregame warmups against New Hampshire, I saw how abysmal his passing ability was. And then he hasn't had the mobility this season to match up with it. And then this UCF is just coming off of having John Rice Plumlee as the starter, who is nowhere near he's really good. If he goes to the UFL, he'll be really fucking solid there. But he's nowhere near this elite college talent like UCF has had in the past. He's just a really solid quarterback who knows what his style is. He was able to make the deep pass every once in a while, and he was fast. Because he also played center field in baseball. He's the people always say KJ's going to be the perfect guy for Gus Malzahn's offense because he is very similar to Cam Newton. Well, in actuality, someone like John Rice Plumlee fit the style a lot more because he had great conditioning, was a fast dude to be able to beat the edge, and allowed the Wildcat to be used a lot more often than with KJ. Yeah, and again, JRP had a good arm, and he has a solid arm. But it's I don't know, that's the other thing that UCF. I'm talking about college all of a sudden, but UCF last year, although not the greatest of seasons within in great scheme of things, they went 6-7. They didn't do great within the conference, and part of it is because John Rice Plumlee got injured against Boise State. That's a different story. But the way that, how do I word this? You look at the Oklahoma game UCF played last year with John Rhys Plumlee's first game back. Played incredibly, nearly won that game. And someone like, and a big part of why UCF is what I'm getting at. So a big part of the reason why UCF had success, especially in the red zone, where they have struggled this season, is because of the usage of the Wildcat offense with RJ Harvey. Because they've had KJ Jefferson be the starter most of the season so far, instead of putting RJ Harvey and the Wildcat in those goal-to-go situations, they're calling the exact same play design, but with KJ Jefferson getting the snap. And it just has not been working. Pittsburgh. Yeah, he's on the Steelers practice squad, if I remember correctly. And then I want to say he was drafted in the UFL. Could not remember who. I believe it might have been either like Memphis or it was Houston. Can't remember which one. Caleb Williams is playing really well. He's at like 12 for 15, 128 with 2 touchdowns. It's nothing that like truly stands out, but he is playing well, and he's making plays when he's needed to. Because he also has like 30 plus yards on the ground, I want to say. Yeah, he has a 128 pass and 56 on the ground. He's playing well. Yeah. And DTR is another quarterback who I'm like, just give him a chance give him a proper chance, because he started a few games in Cleveland last year, but while he was starting those games, it never felt like he was given a shot. In the sense of, it always felt like he had someone breathing down his neck. In that case, it was Deshaun Watson, who you're gonna be forcing Deshaun Watson on the field when you can. Yeah, Caleb Williams is playing well, but to be fair, it's against Jacksonville, so kind of expected. Like DTR, give him a shot to be like a proper starter with no pressure behind him. JRP, similar situation. That's why I feel like both of them would be really good in the UFL, and then eventually work their way to be really solid backup options in the NFL. And hell, like I'm shocked we didn't see more quarterbacks from this past draft class take that kind of approach of going to a different league to prove yourself and to keep developing. Because you know who did take that route? Tua Tagovailoa. He went over to Hamilton in the CFL, and I believe played well for them this season. Now we'll see what goes that way, but like, you have the options to prove, you have more chances to prove yourself in a professional environment. Take them if you can. Because I mean, Adrian Martinez right now is the 3rd string quarterback over in the Jets, and I feel like they're setting him up to be either the backup of the future, or hell, maybe even the guy of the future. The Bengals, here's the thing with Cincy. Although the offseason wasn't full of like injury concerns with like Joe Burrow and the others, there was still a lot going on in the offseason with T. Higgins missing training camp, Jamar Chase not practicing a whole lot. So because of those, they started off slow again, like they do historically with Zach Taylor. They started off slow. They didn't have T. Higgins for the first 2 weeks. That almost definitely lost them the game to New England. And then the KC game, who knows? There's a lot to be blamed on that one, but the KC game was rough. They beat Carolina, expected. Who are the other 2 losses to? I'm blanking on it. Yeah, you lose to Baltimore in overtime, in part because Zach Taylor could not call fucking plays. Yeah, Cincy should be 3-2, but like, you lose to Baltimore because Zach Taylor is a dumbass in overtime, and called terrible plays with 3 straight ground games, 3 straight run plays when your passing game was fantastic against Baltimore. And then you lose to Washington in part because Washington is playing a lot better this season than expected, and also because your defense is like non-existent. Yeah, slow start from the offense and the defense hasn't performed well. Second half kickoff underway. This is going to be return beginning from the 2. And Tank Bigsby is going to take it past the 30 and out of bounds at about the 34. Seems like last week could have gone so different for two teams, and it would have made a lot difference in how the season plays out. Buffalo should have beat Houston, or at least that game should have gone to overtime, and who knows what happens there. But the crazy thing, both Buffalo and Cincy feels like they swapped playbooks for each of their final drives. Because what Cincy did, Buffalo should have done. What Buffalo did, Cincy should have done. Yeah, Cincy should be able to beat the Giants. Lawrence looking to throw for the first play of the second half. Going to throw it right side. Has a man caught for the first down and more up to about... Oh, he fumbled. Evan Ingram fumbled and Chicago picks it up and going to return it past midfield up to the 41. Evan Ingram had a great play there. A large chunk of yards. But then fumbles. First play of the half. Oh my. I say this every week. But this is the case every week. The amount of beautiful peanut punches this season is amazing. Oh, that is beautiful. The amount of beautiful peanut punches this season. Yeah, seemed like Ingram is still fumbling. But that was a beautiful peanut punch. Holy. And you can't blame the holder for that one, Bob Flash. Again, pass the ball. Your pass game is going so well. And you run it 3 straight times. I know Zach Taylor, real quick. We have this play, we'll discuss it a bit more. Williams and shotgun back behind him. 1st and 10, ball on the 41. Gonna drop back, look to pass, has some time. Gonna dump it off left side for DeAndre Swift, who's going to get back to the line of scrimmage. So here's the thing with Zach Taylor that I did not like from last week, besides the play calling. He threw Joe Burrow right under the bus for that overtime drive. I do not like that. Because he claims that one of those 3 plays in overtime was initially called a pass play, but Joe Burrow changed it at the line. As this is handoff up the middle for about 2 with DeAndre Swift. I don't like that. I don't like the head coach blatantly throwing the QB under the bus. But whatever. So, the offensive play calling of that overtime drive was not great. That's the bigger issue than the holder missing out, having a bad hold. Run up until we go back to the banking week 9 or whatever. Hopefully, man. Again, when Cincy's playing competitive, it's great for the league, especially nowadays. Yeah, exactly. I doubt Burrow would heck from a pass play to a run. So I don't know why Zach Taylor said he did. Williams looking to throw in 3rd and 8. Pass over the middle is caught for the first down and more. Keenan Allen. A good chunk of yards on that play. Gain of about 13-ish. And going to get up to about the 25, it seems. Maybe like 23. Yeah, exactly. And Zach Taylor not taking responsibility for that loss is terrible. Like, it is terrible. Seems like we got 2 Jaguars shaking up on the play. We need a good quarterback in next. Yeah. I mean, that does make sense. That would kind of be the focal point. But I mean, the offensive line for the Giants is also weird. We had the commercial break, so not missing anything. And I had so much more I had so much more hope for the Giants this season. But I mean, Daniel Jones has just not been playing well still. And it's definitely times where you want to think about moving on in a more truer form than just signing Drew Lock in the offseason. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much longer Zach Taylor has. He can only you can ride that Super Bowl appearance for so long. I don't know how much longer Zach Taylor has as head coach. If this is a truly abysmal season for the Bengals, I could see him being let go. But at the same time, I mean, if you have a top 3 pick, you can get you have a top 3 pick, and you does Cincy still have their second round pick this year? I'm not sure that would actually matter thinking about it, but if they do, there's a chance then. Since you have the top 3 pick, you get Travis Hunter, you get Ashton Genty, your entire team's fixed. You have a top 3 pick in both first and second round. First round pick, you get Travis Hunter. You can then trade up back into the first for Ashton Genty. You're solid. It was the last season we've got either Caleb to Jane Daniels. So here's the thing with that idea. I don't believe the Giants were going to draft a quarterback last season if they were in the position to. Especially after Hard Knocks, like offseason Hard Knocks, I do not believe the Giants were going to draft a quarterback no matter what. Like I truly think the idea was to give Daniel Jones this year to prove himself and then see what happens there. I think the better idea is you get Marvin Harrison Jr. instead of Malik Neighbors. I think that's what they were hoping for. But still, it would not have helped because Daniel Jones just hasn't been playing well. Like we saw with offseason Hard Knocks how Joe Shane reacted to his own son saying they should select Jaden Daniels. He's like, oh, yeah, you're funny, kid. We're going Malik Neighbors. Williams under center, going to play action, looking to throw ball on the 28, going to screenplay this left side for DeAndre Swift. Has room to run first down and more inside the 10 to about the 8. So like, I don't know how much longer Joe Shane has as the GM there. I don't know how much longer Brian Dable has as head coach. The Giants are just in a weird spot right now. In part because they paid $40 million plus to Daniel Jones and then didn't pay Saquon. Ball on the 9, first and goal. Williams in shotgun back to his left, 2 receivers to each side, back to pass. Throwing left side is caught by DJ Moore to the 5-yard line. Second and goal coming up. If you're the Giants, like not again, like obviously fans are seeing this kind of maybe seeing this way. If you are the owner, you are Tim Mara, whoever's the owner at this point now, whichever Mara it is. You look at how Washington is playing, and you look at how the rest of your division is playing, and you're like, what's happening? Williams rolling out to the right for second and goal, trying to find someone, then just throws it away. The Jets. I mean, maybe. I don't think the Giants will ever be that kind of an inept franchise where they would be firing a coach after 5 weeks when you're 2-3 and still right there competing for the division. 2, trading for a 40-plus-year-old quarterback who is coming off of a not great season. As Williams looking to throw in third and goal, pass for the end zone is caught, and they're saying mark short at the goal line. There is a flag down on the play, but they're saying Roma Dunze didn't cross the plane. Like the Jets are just a different kind of ineptitude that I don't think the Giants will ever get to because they at least have the pedigree of recent success. And plus, with how chaotic that division is, there's going to be a year in the next 3-4-ish years maybe where the Giants just fuck around and win the division. Also, penalty on the play was an illegal shift on Chicago. So it's going to be a third and goal from about the 10. Because again, the NFC East has not had a repeat division winner since 05. There's going to be a year somewhere down the line where the Giants play like they did 2 years ago. Third and goal from the 10. Williams drop it back to throw. Has time past middle of the field. End zone and caught. Touchdown Chicago. Keenan Allen. What a strike from Caleb Williams. Jeez, that was a beautiful pass. And Chicago takes advantage of the turnover on the first play of the half. And they're looking to run away with this one. Field goal makes it an 18-point game. Beautiful back shoulder. God. The extra point now for Chicago to make it an 18-point game. And officially a 4-possession game. No, yeah, still 3-possession. The kick is up and good. Yeah, because like obviously it depends on what the offseason moves are and what happens in the draft, but I could see the Giants winning the division in the next 2, 3, 4 before the turn of the decade. The Giants are gonna win the division again at some point. Because that's just the nature of the NFC East at this point in time. And again, like obviously some things like who knows, Washington might have just built a dynasty right now with Jaden Daniels and all of that just changes. But at least like on paper, how the NFC East works, if Washington wins the division this year, they're not going to win it again next year. So it's really between three teams and all that. So like, you know, that's just the nature of that division. It's the same way of saying like, like whoever wins one of the South divisions, it's not going to be that great of a team, but they won it because they were the least shit of those teams in that division. Like last year, it was Houston. Maybe this year may change that because both Houston and Tampa and Atlanta are looking really good, but who knows how the full season plays out. I don't think Washington will. Because again, I see the Commanders this season as a kind of a not return to form, but a reincarnation of the 2012 Commanders, Washington. Like they're doing a lot of similarities there with how Jaden Daniels is playing, but like there is the difference of Jaden Daniels is also being very smart when he does scramble. And they're not asking him to scramble as nearly as often as RG3 was asked to scramble. But I do see similarities between those two teams. So, like, I don't see Washington being able to continue this success, in part because it is tough to continue success with a young quarterback if they're not truly elite. Because eventually their play style is going to get figured out. The offense is going to get figured out. So it's like, how well can Washington adjust? And also, at the end of the day, they got Dan Quinn as the head coach. If they do have success in the playoffs, it won't be at the Super Bowl. And Chicago going to send this one away, where it is down in the end zone for a touchback. Jacksonville will begin from the 30. They show the stat that Chicago has 47 points off turnovers this season, which is crazy. Until you realize like 21 of those points came against Tennessee in week 1. All right, 1st and 10. Lawrence under center, back behind him. Ball at the 30. Sending a man in motion from left to right to make it 2 receiving options to each side. Going to hand this off up the middle, and that's going to gain about 2.5 on the play with Tank Bigsby. I mean, it's the NFL is weird this season. I think their defense is for real, and I do think we're starting to see more like true to form offense from them, where it's not this insanely productive unit. Lawrence looking to throw in 2nd and 8, going to roll out to his left, trying to buy some time. Still looking downfield, not going to take it himself and gain about 4 on the play. As it was now a Chicago Bear down, a little slow to get up. But I do think Minnesota is going to be a really good team this season. In part because their defense is definitely for real. I do think that. The offensive production has been slowly starting to decline this season. So I'm curious on when that's going to like truly hit home. But I mean, as long as they're able to keep up this defensive play, they're gonna have a shot in every game. It's going to be really interesting when they play the Lions this season, when they play the Packers again. Like those 3 games are massive ones for Minnesota. All right, 3rd and 4. 10:20 to play in the third quarter. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers right. Quick pass right side, screenplay, Christian Kirk. Has room to run, gets past midfield to the 49-yard line. Like, I get, because he's going to be, depending on how Detroit plays today, is going to be really interesting. Lawrence going to hand this off right side with Dearness Johnson. That's going to gain about 5, 4.5-ish. All right, 2nd and 5 coming up for Jacksonville. Yeah, and that too. You're gonna mess up in the playoffs. You're gonna fall apart late. Just the trend for Minnesota. Lawrence, play action, looking to throw in 2nd and 5. Launcher one deep down the field. Right side has a man, but underthrown. He had Brian Thomas for a walk-in touchdown if he placed it more near the 3 or the 2-yard line. But instead, he undershot it, and the Bear play it hits off the back of a Bear player. Yeah, that ball is placed even more towards the 5. That's a walk-in touchdown potentially for Brian Thomas. But short. It fell short. All right, 3rd and 5. Lawrence, shotgun, back to his right. 3 receivers to the left. And a drop back looking to throw a quick pass right side is caught for the first down and a gain of about 9 for Evan Ingram. Yeah, exactly. Trevor Lawrence was drafted, most of that draft class. Most of the 21, wait, was 21? Yeah, most of the 21 draft class was drafted purely based off of potential. He's the only one from that draft class to at least show flashes of that higher potential. That's why he was paid. He was paid off of potential. Lawrence, throw over the middle is caught from Evan Ingram. Going to pick up the first down and more up to about the 23, 22-yard line. Because like Lawrence had that one playoff win against the Chargers, which was a quality win. Don't get me wrong about that. But that was more so the Chargers royally fucked this game up type of game. Then Trevor Lawrence actually played really solid. Quick pass left side on 1st and 10 for Gabe Davis. He's going to work his way to the 15-yard line for a gain of about 8. But also, like, look at that first half from that playoff game against the Chargers. Trevor Lawrence played terribly. And then in the second half, Justin Herbert played pretty poorly. Is it Burrow? Yeah, it probably is, actually. I mean, unless you want to put Mahomes up there, because he's still a top 10 highest paid quarterback, I believe. 2nd and 2, a Lawrence under center, back behind him. Going to look to throw 2nd and 2, pass over the middle, and incomplete. What a defensive play to get a hand on that ball. Nearly a perfectly placed pass for a touchdown. But Kevin Byard gets a hand on it and knocks it away. Yeah, but where does Mahomes rank now when it comes to highest paid quarterbacks? Because for he got a massive contract, but that was like 3-4 years ago at this point. 8th, okay. 3rd and 2, Lawrence under center, going to hand this off up the middle, and Tank Bigsby is going to work his way to the 10-yard line, enough for a first down. Yeah, because that, I mean, you want to talk about a genius move from a GM and front office? That Patrick Mahomes contract looks amazing now. Guess what? That was a 10-year, $500 million deal. And he has fully lived up to it. And he's the guy for life there in KC. Like, we're not going to be talking about Mahomes contract extensions until the turn of the decade. Cosplay left side of a Tank Bigsby on 1st and 10 from the 11. Going to work his way to the 5, but there's a flag down on the play. It's crazy. KC does a 10-year, hundreds of millions of dollar deal, and it works out well. As there's a holding call in Jacksonville, going to move him back 10. Meanwhile, the Raiders tried it, and it went disastrous. Yeah, it's clear holding. Because when remember the Raiders when the Raiders brought back John Gruden, that was a 10-year, $100 million deal. Did not work out. He's tied for 12th. Okay. Nah, that's interesting. But again, that's a great deal now looking at it for KC's side of things. Because it's allowed them to keep building. 1st and 20 now for Jacksonville. Lawrence going to roll out to his left, throwing left side, has a man, and caught. Touchdown Jacksonville. Gabe Davis gives Jacksonville their first touchdown of the game as they try to claw their way back into this one. That was a good play from Lawrence. Yeah, just patient, bide his time. And delivered a nice ball to Gabe Davis. The extra point is up and good. We are now having an 11-point game in London with 6 minutes to play in this third quarter. We're heading to commercial break. Christian Watson is active today for the Packers. That's nice. All right, at commercial, gonna quickly be right back. All right, we back. Dak, Tilo, Love, Burrow, Tua. Yeah, how long was that Josh Allen contract for? How many years? Because if he's coming up for an extension soon, that's going to be an interesting offseason. Joe Flacco gets the start today for Tennessee. Not for Tennessee, for Indianapolis, my bad. And Anthony Richardson will serve as the emergency third. So 6 years? Okay, so he's up for the extension, what, like this offseason, next offseason, basically? So that, if he's up for an extension this offseason, this is gonna be an interesting offseason. Because he's gonna get paid. And like this was supposed to be the offseason for Buffalo where they restock back up in the cap space department, and they've restocked up in the cap space. They're able to spend a lot more money. Next offseason, I don't know what would be better for Buffalo. I don't know what they would prefer if to get it done this offseason or next offseason. Because he's going to pass Dak. Hey, that don't matter for Buffalo. They've won the division each year for Josh Allen's career, basically. They've been a dominant force in the AFC since Josh Allen's been there. They don't care about the interceptions. That comes with him being a great quarterback for them. Yeah, but think about what Buffalo had to deal with before Josh Allen got there. Like, from the time between Jim Kelly and Josh Allen, Buffalo was nowhere even near the playoffs for a good chunk of those years. So, like, I think they're happy. Maybe not happy, but they definitely will be happy to pay Josh Allen again. Toss play right side for DeAndre Swift, who's going to cut it back up the middle and gain about 8 on the play up to the 38-yard line. I mean, like, Allen is not going to leave Buffalo. He's just not. Especially because, like, there's so many, like, last year, for example, you can't blame Allen on them not beating KC. Williams, quick pass right side on 2nd and 2 is going to be close depending on the spot. It seems like it's going to be just shy of the first down. There's Mercedes Lewis on the reception. Jeez. Yeah, it's going to be close. Like, there are a few guys who I can not see playing in another uniform. Josh Allen is one of them. Mahomes, obviously. Yeah, I believe that was Mercedes Lewis. I know he is on Chicago. Yeah, he's someone who is still going, man. It's nice to see. All right, now we're rolling in a 1st and 10. Yeah, there was Mercedes Lewis. Well, you can't say he fell off when he's damn near 40 and still playing the tight end position. Gonna play action, looking to throw on 1st and 10, going to try and step up, but is sacked back near the 36. Jair Alexander's playing today for the Packers. That's massive. Yeah, this is his 19th season. You can't say he fell off. The fact he's even still playing is incredible. Yeah, he is 40 and still playing tight end. Like, that is incredible. Yeah, exactly. Williams, quick pass, left side screenplay for DeAndre Swift on 2nd and 14, going to get past the 40 up to about the 42. Yeah, well, was he the same draft class as Rodgers? Is that what that means? He's either the same draft class or the 06 draft class. Williams looking to throw in 3rd and 8. Has some time now, going to be sacked by Trayvon Walker back near the 30. Caleb Williams ran right into him, but there was a flag on the play. Yeah, I want to say Rodgers is. I'm checking. It is a penalty on Chicago. Too many men on the field. So they will replay third down after moving them up 5. Let's see. Yeah, Rodgers in his 20th season. He was 06 draft class. And wasn't he drafted by Jacksonville? So that means he's playing against his former team. But he's playing in Jacksonville, Green Bay, obviously Chicago. I know there's probably 5 others. All right, 33. Williams looking to throw. Has to just escape the pressure and just chucks it away incomplete. Damn near going into the stands, but there was another flag on the play, and this is seeming like it's going to be defensive holding. Yep, defensive holding on Jacksonville. Going to replay, and I'm going to be an automatic first down. Back-to-back plays. Jacksonville successfully got off the field defensively, but a penalty fucked shit up. And keeps Chicago alive on this drive. All right, 1st and 10, ball now on the plus 48. Williams in shotgun, back to his left. 2 receiving options to each side, making adjustments at the line. Now going to shift the back over to his right. Gonna toss this right side for DeAndre Swift, who has the lane, 1st down and more, and gonna be tripped up and getting down at the 30. 18 yards on the play. All right, so the notable actives. Joe Mixon is active. Michael Pittman is active. So is Josh Downs, Christian Watson, Jair Alexander, Marlon Humphrey. Ronnie Staley's a big one. Antoine Winfield being back is big. Denzel Ward is back. Anthony Richardson is still, he's an emergency 3rd quarterback. And Rashad White is still inactive for Tampa. It might make him the longest tenure tight end. I don't know. The only other one that comes to mind is like Vernon Davis. We did not play that long. Williams looking to throw on 1st and 10, gonna step up and get back to the line of scrimmage. Luckily, yeah, I don't know if that would make him the longest tenure tight end. It's definitely up there. He probably will have it by the end of his career. Yeah, Mercedes Lewis has the lead with 19. Followed behind him is Jason Witten, Tony Gonzalez, both at 17. Antonio Gates had 16 seasons. Greg Olsen had 14. Vernon Davis had 14. Williams going to just spike this one into the dirt on a failed screenplay to DeAndre Swift. Yeah, I didn't even think Vernon Davis had 14 seasons. I thought he had like 9 or 10. Jimmy Graham had 13. Jared Cook had 13. And that's all I'm able to see right now. The Stat Muse does not like non-subscribers. All right, 3rd and 10. Williams alone in shotgun, 3 receiving options to the right to get the snap off just in time, looking to throw. Gonna dump off left side screenplay, and that's going to be a gain of about 2 on the play for Roschon Johnson. Gonna be a gain of about 2, but there is a flag down on the play with DJ Moore slow to get up. A minute to play in the 3rd quarter. It is a defensive holding on Jacksonville once again. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down. No, I don't think Travis Etienne got hurt today. I just think Tank Bigsby has become the primary back. But I don't think Etienne got hurt. I haven't seen a report saying he got injured. I just think that Jacksonville's like I think Jacksonville likes what they get out of Tank Bigsby a bit more for this kind of matchup. Or at least they've liked what they've been seeing a bit more from him. Williams under center going to hand this off up the middle for DeAndre Swift. Breaks through inside the 10 down to the 7. A halfback dive going for not 20-ish yards, but yeah, probably about 20-ish yards. It's crazy. But again, I haven't seen anything about ETN being injured. He just hasn't been playing well today. All right, first and goal from the 8. Williams under center, back behind him. Going to hand this off once again for DeAndre Swift, who breaks through 2 tacklers and diving forward to about the 3-yard line. And that might be the final play of the third quarter. Yeah, that is true. That is true. He hasn't been playing well all year. But I mean, like, again, Jacksonville in theory should be 2-3 right now with the win against Miami, but that was Tank Bigsby who fumbled in that one. So, yeah. Man, Jacksonville as a whole has not been playing well this season. And it is kind of weird, but at the same time, kind of expected. Like 40 more yards from the year before the game. Yeah. Well, because Jacksonville's been running a pretty even split for carries between ETN and Bigsby. But definitely today it has been more so Bigsby. And hell, even Dearness Johnson has been seeing the field a bit more. So that does make me curious if Etienne did get hurt, but I didn't see anything about it. It is weird that you'll have Dearness Johnson getting some of the carries. I'm trying to see if I can find anything. Oh yeah, as of like 10 minutes ago, the Jaguars themselves tweeted out that Travis Etienne is questionable to return with a hamstring injury. But that's still like their last drive, basically. He got injured on, so I don't think he's still been playing most of the game. My fantasy team, he's having a solid game so far. He has like that one fumble to begin the half does suck. But yeah, besides that, he's been having a really solid day. Jeez, ETN, yeah, 3 carries for -1 yards. Jeez. Yeah, that is true. Being that great area for running backs. But to be fair, like again, the running back position is such a weird position to try to project stuff for because there are a lot of quality running backs out there. So it's definitely tough to like again it's tough to predict how they could play each week. I don't do fantasy myself, but I've been seeing all this past week of people complaining about like how many running backs are injured, how bad some running backs have been, the fact that someone is starting like and it has between like Antonio Gibson and some random third string back and like from like Seattle, I believe, to start this week. I'm also streaming Washington Baltimore at 1 o'clock, Detroit Dallas at 4:25, and Sunday Night Football. Full slate for me today. So yeah, gonna be a long one, but it's gonna be here for pretty much all of them. Williams looking to throw in second and goal, fade route back corner, and going to be caught. Keenan Allen. Holy, what a dot from Caleb Williams. He's having himself a breakout game. Oh yeah, I expect either Washington, Baltimore, or Detroit, Dallas to be like the true game of the week. What a goal line fades do not work often, but when they do, it's because the ball is placed literally perfectly. And that was the case there. Like, that was beautiful from Caleb Williams. Like, I feel like people were waiting for this kind of game from him. Or at least maybe like expected it to be sooner. But this has been a fantastic game from Williams. Like, was not expecting this level of play. I was expecting him to be good because, again, they're playing Jacksonville. But this has been special. Extra point is up and good. My. Like, Keenan Allen has had himself kind of a breakout game as well. Or like a standout game. Yeah. Okay. So there was one year, I think it was my last year doing fantasy. I drafted Mark Andrews. Yeah, that was like the first year of Mark Andrews like beginning decline. Yeah, that did not go well. My first year doing fantasy was a year after Todd Gurley had his fantastic season. So that was not a great year for it was like the start of Todd Gurley's slow decline. Yeah. But I will say though, like I was doing fantasy late 2010s era. I think my last year doing fantasy might have been like 2019, 2018. And consistently when I was doing it, 13th, 14th round, Big Ben for quarterback, consistently a baller for me. Yeah, like, both. Like, I did not expect either of them to have the kind of days they're having. Like, they're playing really well. Like, and then like, those are the maybe not Komet, but Keenan Allen was like, when is he gonna have his big time game in Chicago? They traded for him. He was expected to be the true receiver. Like he's expected to be a vet guy, the receiver two to Odunze and DJ Moore. When is he gonna stand out? That's today. Cole Kmet had his issues last season with production. He's having a solid game today. And man, Caleb Williams is spreading the ball out. Like Kmet 4 targets, Odunze 2, Allen has 4 targets, Swift has 5, Rashawn Johnson has 3 targets, DJ Moore has 4 targets. Drop my team. Alright, cool. Then Trayvon Walker to the line. I mean, I'm sure the Lions would take it, but I don't see Jacksonville getting rid of him. In part because like if you're Jacksonville, and they're kind of dealing this, yeah. If you're Jacksonville, Trayvon Walker, you better hang on to him for as long as you can and hope he eventually develops into the type of talent Aiden Hutchinson is. You let Trayvon Walker walk, you trade him, you admit defeat in that aspect. Like people are already shaming them for not picking Aiden Hutchinson. They move on from Trayvon Walker after his rookie contract. It is not a good look. Chicago going to send this one down in the kickoff. Going to be returned beginning from the goal line. And fumble. Tank Bigsby fumbled. And there's a pile for the ball. That ball launched like 10 yards down the field as soon as he fumbled. Oh, who fell on it? They're saying Jacksonville did fall on it. Okay. Avoiding disaster there. It's just another beautiful peanut punch. It's just another beautiful, beautiful peanut punch. That is true about Flash. I am only wearing this jersey because I don't have a Bears one. Typically, when it's a game that the Dolphins aren't playing in, I would try to wear the jersey for the home team or whatever team or the team I predicted to win. I just don't have a Bears one yet. So I got this one in Jacksonville last year for the preseason, so that's nice. Lawrence looking to throw 1st and 10 pass left side is caught by Evan Ingram up to about the 42. As you can see behind me, we got 2 Dolphins jerseys. There's another one just off to the side. No, 3 Dolphins jerseys back there. 2 Heat. There's a Panthers one just off to the side. At the deadline, I don't think they're gonna trade him at the deadline. Lawrence looking to throw in 2nd and 3, gonna try to roll out to his left, but sack back near the 31. If I was a Jaguars fan, my demeanor right now would be vastly different. I just don't see Trevon Walker being traded at the deadline if he is moved. Like he's been okay for Jacksonville, but he's definitely not been up. He's definitely not been first overall good for them. And even when that draft was happening, I feel like a lot of people were saying that Trayvon Walker first overall is a stretch. 3rd and 13, Lawrence dropping back, looking to throw. Gonna sling this one over the middle and is picked off. Returned back inside the 40 up to the 36. This is your $55 million man, Jacksonville. Picked off over the middle of the field. Why are you even throwing that ball? Wait. You did not just throw that pass. Intended for Christian Kirk, who was on a sit route at the first down marker. The issue is, he was being blanketed by Tremaine Edmonds. And then there was another linebacker like 2 feet away from him to the left who did end up picking the ball off. He tried to fit that ball into some of the best double coverage I've ever seen. When Brian Thomas was wide open to the right on an in-breaking route for 20 plus yards. Williams play action, dropping back, looking to throw. Then he escaped the pressure, rolling out to his right, buying time. Throwing it back middle of the field, Cole Kmet wide open, plenty of room to run. Past the 15, finally knocked out of bounds at the 9. Ronald Darby is the one who saves an even larger play, but man, oh man. Like, this has been a perfect game for Caleb Williams to show off his mobility. And then Cole Kmet on the block and release route, just wide open. Williams and shotgun back to his left, going to touch past this DJ Moore left side. Inside the 5. Did he get in? They're saying he did. Touchdown Chicago. The 5th passing touchdown on the day for Caleb Williams. And they're running away with this one. No, he's short. They showed the pile on cam. DJ Moore is short. This is going to be overturned. But it's going to be ball at the inch-yard line. He is short. The good news, Ball Flash, is they will be leaving the Jaguars in Jacksonville because they played New England. They will be leaving the Jaguars in London because they played New England here next week. I see the more the season progresses and the worse the Jaguars are looking, like defensively, the more I am pissed off about how week 1 went. Because Miami's offense did not do a good job against Jacksonville week 1. No, but just highly disappointing. Should be better. I mean, that's the thing though. Should they be better than this? Because I would make the argument that they had a better receiving core last year with Calvin Ridley. And their defense was a more complete defense last year. And then we saw how the second half of that season played out for them with that team. Like, yeah, you can make the argument that Jacksonville should have won a few games here or there that they probably maybe would have won last year, or maybe they had better talent than this year still, but still ended up losing somehow. But at the end of the day, I was not expecting a lot out of Jacksonville this season. I wasn't expecting a 1-5 start, but I still wasn't expecting them to compete for the division. Williams hands off DeAndre Swift up the middle. He's going to fight his way forward in for the touchdown, I believe. And yep, there it is. So now Chicago takes a 24-point lead. here's the thing, Ball Flash. They should not be the main ones to represent big cats. Because one, the Lions are playing incredibly at the moment. And if you want to purely talk about the AFC cat teams, Cincy has not done their job. Like Cincy should have been the AFC representative for cat teams this season. But y'all are on the same level as Jacksonville at this point. Well, because one of the other cat teams is the Panthers, so that, yeah. And then, like, the only other one besides the Lions that should have actually be performing well is Cincy, but they started off slow again. High snap, but they get the kickoff clean, and it is good. So 12:29 to play in this game, and Chicago up by 25. Well, yeah, since he has been playing better the past few weeks offensively, it's just a defense that hasn't lived up to that point. Which that is a topic for the offseason, especially because there's been so much talk in recent years that Lou Amarillo is going to get a head coaching job for how well he has since his defense playing. This season, though, doesn't look like it. That's nice. Yeah, I gotta go through the superstitions a bit. But it's like, I don't know, like what happens with the DC now, because he's still a solid DC. At least he has the history of being a solid DC. But like, there's all this talk in like previous off seasons of him leaving and getting a head coaching job. I would imagine those talks aren't as frequent this upcoming off season. But at the same time, you have to think about one of the teams looking for a head coach this offseason is going to be the New York Jets. So even though they probably should take the route of hiring like a Brian Flores, there's a real chance that there's a real chance they're going to say, this guy, Lou Amarillo, has been a pretty solid DC for every year besides this past season. Let's take a chance on him the same way they took a chance on Robert Saleh. And it's the Jets, man. They're going to be a fun team to keep an eye on when it comes to the coaching cycle. And I know everyone's thinking now, like, oh, Belichick, Flores, some other guys. A sneaky contender for that Jets head coaching job. We're still plenty of weeks away and months away from this, but keep an eye out for Mike Vrabel. I could see the Jets going after Mike Vrabel for the head coach position. Because he is someone who was a surprise firing by Tennessee, although they kind of make sense in hindsight. But he's still a solid coach, will get that defense going again, and knows how to build an offensive coaching staff to an extent. So, like, I could see Mike Vrabel being in contention for if not the Jets job, I could see him getting a head coaching job this offseason. Chicago sends this one away, where it will be downed in the end zone for a touchback. Jacksonville will be getting from the 30. I don't know how to pronounce. It's not pronounced it the best I could. It's not like I could read the name and not pronounce it. Yeah. And Arumo. There we go. But you knew what I was getting at. The point stands. Listen, player names I have memorized pretty well. Same with head coaches. Not really coordinators. As Trevor Lawrence is sacked back at the 21. Yep, this is really the score. And it's because of plays like that with Jacksonville's O-line not playing up to stuff, Trevor Lawrence making some dumb decisions, a lot of fumbles from Jacksonville. Yeah, both. Only the third sack on Lawrence. There's a lot worse. Yeah, it is starting to get ugly a bit, but it's the London games. What do you expect? Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left, two receivers to each side for 2nd and 18. Going to hand this off up the middle. Dearness Johnson going to get past the 30 up to about the 35. So a gain of about 13 on the play. So pretty solid. I mean, I wish I could say that there was like a specific thing Lawrence has been doing wrong this game. But he's just playing like Trevor Lawrence. He's not making good decisions. The offense as a whole has not been playing great. They've dropped some touchdown passes. And the defense is just not quality this season either. This is just who Jacksonville is this season. Quick pass, right side going to be caught by Gabe Davis and pick up about 6 on the play through forward progress. Enough for a first down. Yeah. Like I don't know how he's gonna be like when it comes to the coaching market this offseason. Obviously, we only know of one position that's open at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what other ones come open. Like I am kind of looking at that Zach Taylor as potentially being on the hot seat. Lawrence looking to throw in 1st and 10, gonna pass deep over the middle and incomplete. Looking for Christian Kirk, nearly picked off again. I mean, Evan Ingram has been the most reliable target today. So let me finally get around to looking at. Okay, yeah, solid. That's a solid fantasy team. Yeah, again, Ingram's been the most reliable. At this point, it's garbage time to try and make this look like a better game. So, Lawrence in shotgun, back to his right, 2 receivers to each side, ball on the 41. Gonna screenplay right side with Dearness Johnson. Gonna cut back up the middle and pick up the first down and more, up to about the plus 46. Definitely not. Well, because again, like you've made since he has made the playoffs consistently, so he's gonna have at least a year of breathing room for a bad season. Pass right side to Evan Ingram, gonna get past the 40 up to the 39, pick up of about 7-ish on the play. But you gotta think like Zach Taylor has the pedigree to be able to be like, hey, it's one bad season, give me another shot next season when we hopefully don't have any offseason issues. Quick pass left side, Evan Ingram screenplay going to pick up about enough for the first down, maybe 4. Yeah, but again, like you have again from like what 3 years ago at this point, you have the Super Bowl appearance, you have another AFC Championship appearance 2 years ago, you have the playoff appearance last year. Like Zach Taylor has the resume to be like, give me another year. And I'm sure Saints will probably be like, sure. But if next season is disastrous again, like, is another disaster season, then I can see him being gone. It's the same way I feel about McDaniel. Like he's safe this season. Lawrence gonna launch one deep, right side on 3rd and 1, and incomplete through the hands of Gabe Davis. With 9:07 to play in the game, it is 4th and 1. Yeah, like, again, like all of the hype surrounding Trevor Lawrence, especially coming out and after the playoff win, was all he is getting. Was all he is developing well. He has the potential to be great. Has not lived up to said potential, and if anything, has declined since that wildcard game against the Chargers. All right, 4th and 1. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left, 3 receivers to the right. Going to hand this off up the middle with Dearness Johnson. Going to get the first and more up to about the 29-yard line. Receiving bonus for Ingram. Hell yeah. Again, I'm shocked that Ingram is being utilized this much. He is the most reliable receiver today, so it does make sense. But entering the game, did not expect him to have 100+ yards receiving. And hell, because it was the whole he might not even play today. Lawrence quick pass left side is caught, going to be a gain of about 11, maybe 12 on the play. That is the other tight end, who I cannot remember the name for right now. Jacksonville, go and hurry up. Quickly get this dude's name. That was Brenton Strange on the reception on the previous play. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left, two receivers each side. Going to hand this off up the middle with Dearness Johnson, who's going to get it up to about the 15. Damn, but they're on a bias. So. Yeah, I mean, even Kelsey, like most tight ends have not been playing well this season. Like Kelsey finally had himself a good game last week, but like Evan, I feel like it does feel like Evan Ingram is like it was Isaiah Likely in week 1, and now it feels like Evan Ingram's the next like proper tight end kind of day. Lawrence looking to throw in 2nd and 7, looking for the end zone and dropped. Had Brian Thomas in the end zone on a corner route, but just through the arms. And the 3rd and 7 coming up. Right through the hands. Off the chest. Oh, man. He did a good job high pointing that ball, but just couldn't hang on. All right, 3rd and 7, 7:40 to play in this game. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left. 3 receivers to the right. Drop back, looking to throw. Pressure comes in quick. Pass right side, caught by Christian Kirk for the first down and brought down at about the 6-yard line. Jacksonville still going hurry up. Ball on 6. Yes, I'll be doing Baltimore, Washington at 1, Detroit, Dallas at 4:25, and Sunday Night Football today. Lawrence looking to throw, pass end zone, and going to be incomplete. Looking for Brian Thomas on a back shoulder throw near the sideline. Oh yeah, I did see David Montgomery get his extension. It was a 2-year extension. I love that deal. But Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs being the 1-2 combo in Detroit has been fantastic for them. So I love that extension. It makes a lot of sense. He's been a quality back for them. Well, I'm doing Detroit's game later, so I'll probably talk about it a bit more during that one. The Lawrence, shotgun, back to his right, looking to throw in 2nd and goal. Pass end zone and overthrows Gabe Davis, incomplete. Threw it out the back of the end zone. Yeah, it was a great deal. I was shocked that they even got an extension done, because I saw it last night. It is rare that extensions get done during the season like that, especially week 6. Typically, if they get done, they're around the deadline, and if not, it's shortly after the offseason begins. But they locked him up for another 2 years. It makes a lot of sense. All right, 3rd and goal from the 6. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. In a drop back, look to throw, has time, pass left side, incomplete, looking for Christian Kirk. Hey, Chicago's red zone defense has been playing phenomenally. And threw his hands off his chest. Can't hang on to it. So a 4th and goal coming up. After this 4th down, I'll answer that. Today, I got a few ideas for the deadline from a few teams. At 4th and goal, Lawrence, shotgun, back to his right. 2 receivers to each side. Trying to make this a more manageable looking game on the box score. Snap comes off quick. And a throw for the end zone, and did he cross? They're saying that Gabe Davis caught it in the end zone as a Jacksonville touchdown. So they make this a closer of a game. But that was still like hit while the ball arrived. Like that's, but yeah, good job from Gabe Davis hanging on to it. I believe that's his 2nd of the day. And they're going for 2. Just under 7 minutes to play in the 4th. Again, they were down by 25, so it's still a 4-possession game no matter what. Like, they're still going to need to get 2 more 2-point conversions and touchdowns. We have to make it a 1-score game. Lawrence in shotgun, back to his left, going to drop back, looking to throw. Pass left side and incomplete, overthrowing Evan Ingram on the corner route. All right, so the deadline. Here are some of the things I could see happening. And there's quite a few different scenarios, but this is kind of just like the most likely. I do see Davante Adams being moved if Vegas continues his level of play. I don't see him going to the Jets anymore because of the whole firing Saleh and having the interim coach. It's not a stable situation to be in. He wouldn't want to be in that kind of situation. It's also not a situation that is set up for a Super Bowl run. So I could see him going to either to most likely Kansas City, but Buffalo is still an option as well if they feel like they need that piece to move him over the hump. With Adams being moved, I could see the Raiders taking calls on Max Crosby, but not actually moving him. If Miami is still at this weird point where they're kind of contenders, but not contenders at the same time, I could see Armstead being moved to a team that does truly need a left tackle, a blindside tackle, and we start putting Patrick Paul in that left tackle and give him the reps. I could see Washington being a contender for like an Armstead, or just being a team that's gonna call a lot of teams trying to make a move. And really, they could be someone who calls the Raiders for Max Crosby, but who really knows? The Jets are going to get calls surrounding Hassan Reddick no matter what, just because he still has not shown up. He's also no longer with his agency. They let him go, so that's an interesting situation. Part of me wants to say someone from Seattle could be on the move, but I kind of doubt that as well. No, I don't think the David Montgomery deal would be a regret. Because one, it's only a 2-year extension for a running back who has been playing really solid for them, who also isn't a bell cow back. So again, the thing with how Detroit runs the running back room, it makes it a good spot for like Montgomery and Gibbs. They even up the carries pretty well, and they have a fantastic O-line that makes it so they don't get hit behind the line of scrimmage often. So they're able to get towards the sideline, get out of bounds, and avoid taking massive shots over the middle of the field. So it's a good situation for running backs to be in. Montgomery has had plenty of success there as a goal line back, and a back within the 5. So he's playing well there. He's been a massive factor as to why Detroit has won some games this season. I don't think the Lions are going to regret it. If it was like a 3+ year deal, I could see them maybe regretting it. But for 2 years, it's not bad. Jacksonville going to try the onside kick, but Chicago falls on it at the 44-yard line. Adams will be staying in Vegas. Yeah, I know they announced that, but what is Antonio Pierce gonna say? It is week 5, and they're still in contention for a playoff spot. You're not gonna go out there in week 5 and say, "Oh yeah, we are ready to trade our best offensive player." No, you're gonna try to keep him as long as you can. But if the right offer comes around at the deadline, they're gonna move on from him. And I say KC is the best possible option, as there's a toss left side for DeAndre Swift going to gain about 3 on the play. I say KC is the best possible option, but even then, if they are like one of the only teams to make an offer for Davante Adams, the Raiders are not going to trade him to Kansas City. Brock Bowers is a rookie. He might eventually become the best offensive player for the Raiders, no doubt. But no, it's Davante Adams until Bowers develops or Adams is gone. Williams under center for 2nd and 7, a quick pass right side, but it's batted away at the line of scrimmage. And here's the other thing with the Raiders. Their receiver room could look so much better if they just bring back Hunter Renfrow. The fact that Hunter Renfrow is still a free agent is mind-boggling. And yeah, his production the past few years haven't been the greatest, but he is still a reliable 3rd down receiver that can pick up 5+ yards. Anyway, I also believe the Raiders put Michael Mayer on IR or something, so he's going to be out. Toss right side with 3rd and 7. DeAndre Swift's going to fumble, but Chicago falls on it at around the 41, and a fourth down coming up, 6:05 to play. Yeah, I mean that's a nice hit, jars the ball loose. Like KC's gonna be a buyer. Buffalo's gonna be a buyer. I think the Jets will attempt to be buyers at the deadline, but they won't actually be able to because not a lot of people are gonna want to go to that situation right now. I mean, look at Hassan Reddick. San Francisco could be buyers if they turn the season around successfully. I could possibly see Baltimore being buyers, but I'm not fully sure about that. I could see Philly and Dallas being buyers because they desperately need to turn their seasons around. All right, 4th and 3, and the offense is staying on the field. Williams in shotgun, back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. And I think it's just trying to get Jacksonville to jump off sides. 3 seconds on the play clock, 2, 1. Yeah, no. Okay, they're just trying to get Jacksonville to draw off sides, as they call their first timeout, it seems. Yep. Not feeling. Yeah, I mean, it's Sunday, man. I got it. Like this deadline could either be a really chaotic deadline or just non-existent. Like a lot of teams probably feel like they're in contention for playoff spots at the moment, but then come week 9, who knows where they're going to be at? Like how Denver might be a buyer at the deadline, or they could just completely fall off in the next 4 weeks and end up being sellers of some kind. Now, who does Denver have that they could sell? Don't really know that side of things. But right, 4th and 3, offense still on the field. Williams gonna look to throw. Pass left side is caught by Keenan Allen inside the 30, up to the 28. An absolute strike of a pass. And that's a dot right there. They could have called hands to the face on Jacksonville on that. But Keenan Allen having himself a day. Because he has 5 receptions for 41 yards, but those 2 touchdowns, man. He's having himself one hell of a day. All right, ball on the 29. Williams under center. Going to hand this off up the middle for Roschon Johnson. Going to get up to about the 25 with 5:20 to play in the game. Okay. Oh, I missed when Jacksonville called a timeout. There you go. They have 2. I could see Cincy more as sellers than buyers. Because it depends how the season goes. If you turn it around and you're 4-4, 5-4 come deadline, maybe. A toss left side for Roschon Johnson going to go nowhere. Stonewalled at the line of scrimmage. 3rd and 7 coming up. Because what? The deadline is the Tuesday after week 9. So when is Cincy's bye week? Either way, it's gonna be an interesting situation for a lot of teams. Because again, like a team like Cincy though, where he isn't having the best kind of season, you're still not gonna completely sell because you're looking towards next season and thinking you have a quality team built around. Handoff up the middle on 3rd and 6 is going to maybe gain a yard on the play. Not much going forward. 4 minutes left in this one, and a 4th and 5 coming up. Something like that. Yeah. It's definitely going to be an interesting situation. Right, to week 12, okay, you could be, and most likely, Cincy will be 4-5 at the deadline. Like that's such a weird record to be at. You don't really know what you don't really know what to do. So you're not really gonna. Maybe you're you're probably soft buying and soft selling, depending on the situation. Chicago is trying to draw Jacksonville offside. They're not going to call their second timeout with 3:24 to play. Because like at 4-5, like it also depends how like Baltimore is looking at that point, how Pittsburgh is playing. Like there's a chance at 4-5 you're a game out of the division, and then yeah, you're going to be buyers. But at the same time, you could also be like 3 games out. We just don't know yet. It's still early. Is because when the deadline was after week 8, by now you have a pretty solid idea of what teams are going to look like come deadline. We still have another month to play before the deadline approaches. I feel like the Jets at this point should trade Hassan Reddick, but they're not going to. They're too stubborn, and now the Jets have so much leverage against Hassan Reddick because he's now representing himself. But at the same time, that's not the greatest of situations for the Jets because they were already struggling trying to get a deal with him through an agency. Now with him representing himself, he's going to be even more strict on what he wants. All right, the 43-yard field goal try from Chicago from the left hash to make this a 23-point game. Snap good, hold good, kick is up, and no good. He missed it short. It appears as if a Jacksonville player might have tipped that as the ball was spinning horizontally. It's hard to tell, but it's definitely was not a clean kick. It did appear as if a Jacksonville player got a hand on it. But hey, this with 3:20 to play, this remains a 19-point game. And we're at commercial, so we're gonna quickly use this time. It's been a while since I've said this. I'm gonna use this time quickly to say, if you are new, subscribe, really appreciate it. Leave a like while you're at it as well. Payback plays all season long. After this one, there's gonna be 3 more today. 1 o'clock game between Baltimore and Washington. Detroit, Dallas at 4:25 and Sunday Night Football. I'll also be doing Monday Night Football tomorrow night. And yeah, I try to do every primetime game I'm able to. Try to do every Dolphin game I'm able to. And if I end up missing one of those, I'll make up for it with you in an extra game the following week or something. That's why I'm even live with this one. Because I didn't do last week's Sunday night game because the rain delay just made it so I just couldn't realistically do it. And then I'm not doing this upcoming Thursday night game. I have other things to take care of. So that's why I'm even live with this one. Yeah, it's great as picky. It definitely seemed like it. I do wish I was able to do Denver, New Orleans. That does feel like it will be a good game. And the past few Thursday night games have been solid enough. That was a commercial for a Football Life spin-off series. That is cool. I do really like watching a Football Life. Did not realize they were making a spin-off series for like current players and active players. That's cool. Oh, Trevor Lawrence is not coming back into this game. We are seeing Mac Jones, who the last time Mac Jones, I believe the last time Mac Jones started a game for New England was in London last year against the Colts. So he's back seeing action for the first time in a regular season today in London. And Mac Jones going to hand this off right side with Dearness Johnson and going to maybe get a yard on the play. And it is like Jacksonville has missed 2 possible touchdowns due to underthrows by Trevor Lawrence today. All right, Jones, shotgun, back to his right, looking to throw. Gonna pass right side, caught, get up to about the 39-yard line. That's Brian Thomas on the reception. Jones and shotgun, back to his right, 3 receivers to the left. 2:20 to play in this one. Final play before the 2-minute warning. And Jones is going to be sacked back at the 29. At least with Trevor Lawrence, he is not a statue in the pocket. We have Mac Jones' pocket presence there, which is not great. And that brings us to the 2-minute warning. Okay, so before I answer that, who do you say has the worst QB room in the league? I'll rebuttal that. But I mean, Mac Jones, like they want. I'm pretty sure Mac Jones is from North Florida, or like from that kind of area, so you kind of want to bring him home. And plus, like he's again, his rookie season. After the rookie season for all these guys, Mac Jones looked like the best quarterback from that class. He has the potential. Just again, not the greatest of situations with everything that happened in New England and now in Jacksonville behind Trevor Lawrence. Vegas, fair. That's fair for worst QB room. That is definitely fair. Damn, yeah. The Bears are putting a lot of pressure on the Packers and Lions today. Emmanuel Forbes is an inactive against Baltimore. So is Jamin Davis. Wow, those are definitely interesting. Panthers third though. Yeah. Panthers are definitely up there. That's for sure. The Panthers are definitely up there. Because I mean, Tennessee might be up there with a bad quarterback room as well. Who else has bad quarterback play or bad quarterback room? Yeah, there's not many other ones that like truly stand out, I guess. Pats and Titans. I mean, the thing with New England is we can't fully say how bad the quarterback room is because we don't know how well Drake May is gonna do. And then yeah, he's starting today. It's against Houston, and they don't have a good offensive line. So because we don't know what Drake May is going to like truly look like, it's hard to say. But yeah, Jacoby Brissett isn't the greatest. The Giants, man, and then Drew Lock's pretty solid. All right, 4th and 14. This one's going to be sent away from Jacksonville. Punt comes off clean, going to be fair caught at the 15-yard line. 1:52 to play in this one. Chicago has a bye week next week before coming back and playing at Washington in week 8. Oh, that's a good game. Hold on. That could be a really good game. When does Miami play that week? They play Arizona, right? And yeah, Chicago is just gonna need this one out for as much as they can. 1:00 game against Washington. Hold on, I need to see this. And it's Tyson Bagent to need this one out. Against Arizona. That game's in Miami? Why did I think Miami was playing Arizona in Arizona this season? Yeah, Chicago's going to work to waste the clock here and just need this game out. Nice there for the middle ground. Yeah, they're definitely bottom half of the league when it comes to quarterback rooms. All right, one more knee down should do it in this one. What a game for Chicago, man. This was a fantastic outing. And yeah, the NFC North is looking tough. Oh, Cleveland, yeah, Cleveland. Well, Deshaun Watson we know is abysmal, right? So the question then is just like Jameis Winston, how good do we think he is? DTR. Yep, there's the final knee down, and that's going to do it. The Jacksonville Jaguars come up short in London against the Chicago Bears with Caleb Williams having one of the greatest international games played. He played phenomenally. I mean, Jameis Winston could be saving grace as well, but yep, the clock has expired. Okay, that does it for this one. Chicago played fantastically. There's a good chance they end up on power rankings this week in some capacity because that was a fantastic game. Thank you all for tuning in. I will be back in about 30 minutes as the Commanders and the Ravens duel it out. Well, I'm going to go set up that stream. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Again, if you enjoyed, stick around for the 1 o'clock game. I'll be back live in about 30. I'm just going to try. I only get Dave's on Dolphins. I had Dave's yesterday because UCF played, but yeah, I don't have enough time to go get Dave's. There's a chance to get it before Sunday Night Football, but definitely won't be getting it right now. Yeah, thank you all for tuning in. See you all back in about 30 minutes for the Commanders and Ravens. Have yourselves a damn good one. Peace.